battle continues among the top 4 up front. Let's go trackside to Bill Weber.
And Jim Keeker had some good moves up at the front of the pack, but what put you behind the wall, Jim?
Well, we had something evidently knocked a hole in the fuel bladder, and we started leaking fuel, and they black flagged us. I don't know if we had everything for them, but we would have been up front somewhere there in the top 5, I think.
Track conditions, how were the track conditions?
Wonderful. Wasn't too slick. I thought maybe with the trucks and all that out there that might have put down a little bit of rubber and got greasy, but it was great. Nice facility. Sorry we're out.
It's sad to see Jim go out. He's one of those veteran Silver Crown racers that knows how to play patience game and let the fuel go down and keep a tire under him. And he's won quite a few races that way.
He's a good race car driver, a great guy. He's always got that smile on his face. There is Chet Phillips sitting in the 7th spot, and he is being pursued by Heidenreich. Newman is in there. Gamster's in the middle of that. And Jimmy Sills, I believe, is somewhere further back in that tank under the low bar power. A lot of those names are familiar to you fans of Thunder on ESPN. That white car in the middle of your screen right there, I believe, is the 63, is it not? That is Jack Hewitt, who is the winningest driver in this division with 20 career victories. Most of those have come on dirt. He would be first to tell you that the pavement is a bit of alien ground for him. He's sitting on 19th spot. We'll follow some of the action further back in the field.
I was talking about Jack Hewitt being great on the dirt, but I raced in Richmond, Virginia one time on the pavement. He was awfully tough.
I remember that show. It was on Thunder. Hewitt dazzled everybody. Came through the field just like it was a dirt race. He was slipping and sliding all over the place. How about the pressure that the second place man Robbie Flock is putting on the pole sitter, Kenny Irwin Jr. Not bad for a guy who, what, 3 months ago broke his back in a horrendous crash in Las Vegas, Nevada to complete his 97 season. Benny, I'm impressed when I see a comeback like that.
Well, I am too, and I tell you what, I'm also impressed as a caution flag is waved once again.
Is that Patrician, I think? Yeah, Jeff Patrician from Oskaloosa, Iowa, the Cahill Racing Orkin entry has gone south. This is an up-close look at one of those new Beast chassis from Bob East's stable in Indianapolis. Remember, the yellows do not count, so Patrician has brought the field under yellow, but we won't be losing the laps. Look at replay.
Down the corner, wow, look at all those guys slide that right front. Tell you what, he might have put a flat spot on that right front tire that the other car smoked it so much, Randy.
Yeah, he certainly could have. That was a lot of smoke off one tire, and that he'll certainly feel it with that right front tire.
This at lap 15, with yellows not counting. We're going to 50 today. Typical Silver Crown distance is 100. And here is the running order as we take a commercial break, and then we'll come right back. The car with the push truck behind it is the reason we're under yellow as we come back live at Walt Disney World Speedway. Jeff Patrician of Oskaloosa, Iowa, bringing out the second caution of the afternoon. And taking a look at the running order, we see that Kenny Irwin Jr. is still in front of Robbie Flock, but when that yellow came out, it was a matter of inches. Leffler has been in front of Steele, behind Steele, and is now back in front of him. Steele hanging on to 4th. The gap from 4th to 5th will close, and Tyler in the 5th spot will have an opportunity. But the guy to watch may be Mike Bliss. He started 16th for reasons we'll talk more about, and is now up to 6th position. Bliss is definitely the driver on the move here. That is a brand new car owned by A.J. Foyt and George Snyder. And they were still putting that thing together when they arrived at the racetrack this weekend.
Yeah, Mike didn't even get to practice in that first practice session. So there's certainly the car with the least amount of laps on it. And you know, that just takes a little time to get the bugs worked out of a new race car.
Sitting in 6th position as you watch the field move around. Do not adjust the color on your set. Yes, it is a red car, red number 11. Ziggy and Foyt have fielded black number 11s for as long as most of us can remember. The new one, and it's one of those new Beast chassis, is a red car. Bliss is driving it well. Let's go to Marty.
Yeah, Eric Gordon is now down in the pits. You can see them cleaning up brake fluid. The line has been tied around the upper arm, and it is snapped off, and he was locking up out there, and they brought him in, and unfortunately for Eric Gordon, his race is done.
I guess that's the car that we saw just a moment ago smoking that right front tire, trying to avoid nutrition as he spun over in the corner.
Well, Gordon's been so close to greatness so many times. What is it, 3 times runner-up to the Sprint Division champion. Never could quite get across that next hurdle and pull off the championship. And today it's come to a bad end due to a mechanical problem. in the right front with the brakes. Looks like we'll go green this time by, and we'll get a chance to see what Bliss has. See if he can get up there and mix it up with Kenny Irwin Jr. If I do, I guarantee it'll be worth the price of admission. Here we go.
Leffler sure likes to look at that bottom groove here. Oh, we got to get in the first 3 cars.
That's going to take out Flock. Leffler got through it, but it is Irwin and Steele who have tangled with Flock, and 3 of the top 4 are out of it, and Flock is unhappy. Here's Irwin throwing his helmet. The only good news here is he's going to get an early start to Indianapolis, where he's going to race a midget tonight. Ooh, that was not the way he wanted this day.
Man, he is hot, isn't he?
See the Haviland Texaco uniform. He'll drive that car in Winston Cup. Okay, what happened here, guys?
Go down the corner, and the Flock just runs in the back of Kenny Irwin, didn't he, Randy?
Yeah, you know, that's certainly not Robbie's style to do something that intentional. Something had to go wrong, or I'm sure there's a reason for it, because I can't see him doing that intentionally.
Steele had nowhere to go.
And we see the cars just gets the bump, and around they both go, and Steele, as you said, has no place to go. Jason Leffler will end up with the lead in the 9 car.
Johnny Vance's Aristocrat cars colliding, both out of the event after Flock got into the back of Irvin. Wow.
I wouldn't have thought Robbie would have been hurt that bad. He seemed to kind of get in, and Kenny kind of slowed him down before he got to the wall. I thought maybe he could get restarted.
He's looking it over. Robbie with that new Drinan chassis built by Dan Drinan, himself a great race driver who's now focusing his attention on the car building chores. I would not think, I don't know, on the restart like that, they're not going to be, that's not going to be a hard braking point, or it is?
I wouldn't think so. You know, sometimes you might go there a little safe.
Anyway, here's how it happened. 3 of the top 4 are out of this baby. We're going to take a commercial break and come back and see if Jason Leffler can flop up on everybody that's left. Stay with us. We're back live at Walt Disney World Speedway, Lake Buena Vista, Florida. The world is looking very bright right now for the driver of the yellow number 9, Jason Leffler, and the safety vehicle concession is quite profitable in turn number 1. They're taking him down into the infield here, down on pit road, because of this mess where the top 3 cars tangled here on the restart.
Going down the corner, Kenny Irwin, the leader, just gets tagged by Robbie Flock. Around he goes, and the other, his teammate, David Steele, comes along in the other Johnny Vance car, and all 3 of those cars involved in the incident, and I doubt very seriously that any of the 3 will be able to continue.
First, second, and third are out of here. Kenny Irwin Jr., who wanted so badly in what will probably be his last Silver Crown race to pay off the pole with a victory, climbed out. I think the body language says it all. You know what I noticed there? I noticed Flock raising his hands and shaking his head, and you could almost read the little word balloon, Kenny. I couldn't help it. We've heard radio traffic indicating he might have had problems with the brakes. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And Kenny Irwin is here, a little bit more relaxed and able to smile, but I know you're disappointed nonetheless. What happened?
I don't know. We were running good. The Aristocrat car was running real good, and we just he maybe lost his brakes. I mean, hopefully that's what happened. But I was having a ball out there. Really, I really thought we could win the race today, but you know, we didn't. So we'll you know, better things to look forward to. I got all year with Robert Yates and Texaco, so this was going to be one of the last races, and I just really wanted to win it.
Yeah, you really did want this one. This was special to you.
It was, because I don't know how many more I'm going to get to do, if any, and so just didn't end up our way today.
Okay, you couldn't win this afternoon, but you're going to race tonight indoors at the RCA Dome or something?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just one of the last times I'm going to get to do this stuff, so I'm going to head from here and go up to Indianapolis, run an indoor midget race, and just have a little more fun.
Okay, and then we'll see you in Daytona, right? You won't miss that.
No, I'll be there.
Thanks. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's too bad. Kenny Irwin Jr. knocked out of the thing. There's the car. How about poor Johnny Vance? Buys these 2 brand new chassis, puts them all together for 2 of the best shoes in the business. They clunk into each other in turn 1, and that's the end of that. Pack them up, take them home to Dayton, Ohio. Johnny? We've got kind of a long yellow thing going on here. We'll take another commercial break and remind you en route that at noon tomorrow over on ESPN, we will be live with the Chevy Truck Challenge. Randy Tolsma and the other 35 guys in the field trying to win the kickoff of the 1998 season. We'll be right back.
These days, we could all use more.
We're back live. Jason Leffler with less than a lap to green here. Wally Shearer holding that green flag in hand and preparing for the restart as we take a look at your top 15. And you made an interesting point during the break here, Randy, about the fuel situation.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these cars, they have to weigh a minimum of 1,500 pounds, and they use a lot of that fuel for weight. And this many yellows, they could run it a little shy and be short. Just 1 pound loses that race.
In other words, they have to weigh 1,500 pounds after the race.
Correct.
And remember that fuel load, they have the potential to carry about 500 pounds of fuel. We're back at it. Leffler gets a good drop on Tyler, last year's sprint car champion. Third place driver Mike Bliss as they get at it in turn 1.
And Leffler already putting 5-6 car length on Tyler, but Bliss right on that back bumper. And here comes Bliss taking over that second spot.
That position makes the move. He is the absolute master of pavement. The thunder as they shake the ground. Tyler wants to come back around the outside. Tyler, who learned his lessons, of course, in a sprint car around on dirt, is still learning the pavement business, and obviously learning it pretty well. Bliss have at it. This time Tyler's got the position.
Bliss will not give up. Side by side. Wow, what a great battle, but here comes Tyler once again.
Great racing right there, side by side. That's what you want to see.
Your faith in your fellow man when you run it in there like that.
Yeah, this track can be a little bit narrow and nice to be outside like that. I obviously have a lot of trust in Brian Tyler.
The 3 most disappointed people in Florida at this moment are Kenny Irwin Jr., Robbie Flock, and Dave Steele. The 4th most disappointed person is Bliss because he wanted to beat Kenny Irwin Jr. so bad here today, and now he won't get the chance because of the battle. That was the 30 of Leary slipping and sliding all over the racetrack as we go down to Bill Weber.
With Robbie Flock behind the wall. Robbie, what happened out there?
Well, we had a great race car. This Drinan was on a rail out there, and I'll tell you, I felt terrible for Howard Motorsports and also Kenny Irwin, because we had the class of the field, I'm sure, of the car of the field, and I was just cruising. He did pass me. I needed a rabbit to chase. I was watching him. On the restart, I was keeping him inside. I went into turn 1, hit the pedal, and went to the floor. Tried getting a second pump on it. The thing coasted faster than I ever drove in my life, I felt terrible for Kenny because it wasn't his fault, and it sure wasn't my fault for trying too hard. So it's just a racing deal. And, you know, I'm thankful we have great sponsors, Spies Hecker and Redline Oil, Simpson Race Products, Anthony's North. I mean, they're great people. Without those people, we'd have never been here this weekend.
Okay, he's disappointed, done for the day.
Challenge for 4th position as the caution comes out. Again, we have an apparent problem for the number 62 of Jason McCord, and that occurs just as Newman was trying to cut under Leary and take over 4th spot. But there you heard it. Great failure for Robbie Flock, and I don't doubt that a bit because, as you pointed out, Randy, right at the moment that happened, he is not the kind of driver who's going to go in there and run into the back and spin the pole sitter. So here we have the victim of this latest incident, the number 62 out of Anderson, Indiana, Jason McCord. Beaver Racing had been running, I believe, in 13th spot at the time of that apparent mechanical problem. He's saying, give me a push. We'll get this baby running again. This will prevent Leffler from pulling away from the field. Will bunch him back up and give Bliss and his rival.
He said, don't push it. You got to pick it up.
Oh,
evidently, something in the back of the car is locked up. He's telling the record driver that it's not going to roll. You have to get the hook out of here and pick the car off the ground.
And if you do push it, you're going to hurt it worse than it's already hurt. So please don't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the rear wheels were rolling. When I saw him do it, I thought maybe the rear end had locked up or something. But the rear wheels were rolling. So it must be bottomed out, broke something suspension-wise.
There's Jason, big, good-looking kid coming out of the car. Man, he took a wild ride last year. on Thunder in one of our dirt shows at Eldora. Had his bell rung pretty well. Did a great interview. We talked about it. He explained everything that happened. Looked me right in the eye. He took him to the hospital. Brought him back. Didn't remember a bit of it. Never knew that he talked to anybody from ESPN. That sort of thing can happen. All right, so the field is back under yellow. Let's go ahead and slide in another commercial break. Say hi to all your friends down here in the Orlando neighborhood as Leffler, Bliss, Tyler, Leary, and Newman are your top 5. We'll be back with more right after this. Time out. Speed World Live from Walt Disney World Speedway, where Jason Leffler, the protege of Parnelli Jones and his family, leads this event over Bliss and Tyler, who were having a pretty good battle when we went to yellow. Chuck Leary and Ryan Newman also side by side when this last yellow came out at 19 of 50. I think we have 3 generations of the Heidenreich family here today. I believe Grandpa's down in the pits. They've been racing up in Pennsylvania forever. Philip Hewitt, Gamester, and Sills rounding out your top 10. As the Silver Crown cars do battle here today, we're getting set to go west to Colorado, Crested Butte, day 2, afternoon action in the Winter X Games. Snowmobile racing on tap. They're warming up the engines and doing whatever it is you do to the tread as they get ready to blast the drifts out there in snowcross competition. All right, we've got 1 to go. The question still remains, will Leffler just drive away from this field? I don't know if either of you have an opinion on that. If you do, feel free to jump in. Think about it in a moment. We're going to Marty real quick.
Well, that's exactly what I was wondering, because this is the first time that Bliss is going to have nobody between he and Jason Leffler. And think about this. It might be a nice birthday present for his team co-owner, A.J. Foy, who turned 63 yesterday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A.J.'s birthday?
Yep.
You guys all want to sing, or should we pass on that?
We don't want to lose more viewers. Come on.
Let's
Our sing is
do
awful.
A.J. a favor and not do that.
We might have some cake, though.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Let's just say happy birthday, AJ.
Sure enough. And George Snyder, of course, is the co-owner on that car. We made the point that it's brand new, still in pieces when they brought it to the racetrack. Didn't have a driver, hired Bliss to put in it. And he's in second spot as we go back to green.
I think Mike's probably do out there for some catch.
He's won more pavement races than anybody else in the division. These cars predominantly race on the dirt. Bliss has won 7 times on the pavement. Leffler, relatively new to the pavement wars, cut his teeth on dirt. But he says, I got to learn the pavement.
Kind of looked like you still thought he was on dirt there coming off that corner.
And that's going to tell you something here a little bit. You watch both Jason and Mike go through that corner, and Jason was wiggling pretty good, and Mike was straight. And tire heat is everything. If Mike manages his tire a little bit better, he might begin to catch it.
That'll be less critical in a 50-lap race than it might have been in 100, but still very much an issue. And Leffler is definitely slipping and sliding around. There is Tyler in the red car sitting in third. And here's Newman doing what he didn't get to do the first time because of the yellow. He can't pull it off. Leary holds on to the position. And in fact, Heidenreich in the white car is going to gain a spot. The number 80 moving around as Newman tried to make the move on the bottom. Heidenreich saw the opening, went high, and it paid off.
And Jack Hewitt tried to take the spot away from Chet Phillip. That's Phillip in the yellow automobile.
777. Brand new car. Just built that one. Asked him what kind of chassis that is. He grinned and he says, that's a Tex-Mex. And I said, do I dare ask the reason why? And he said, well, yeah, and I tell you, but you better not use it on TV because you'll make somebody mad. He lives in Texas and builds the cars himself. They didn't even get that one painted. You can see a little black on top of the tail tank. That's carbon fiber showing through. We've not heard from the third driver involved in that incident earlier. Let's do that now as we go
That's Dave Steele, another innocent victim. Your view of that 3-car collision?
I just seen Robbie Flock and my teammate Kenny got together, and you know, it was just a deal. I was trying to make a move to the outside of 9 car, and you know, they got together and just came up in front of me. It was just a deal where didn't have much place to go.
Okay, caution out on the track, released a car on the wall. That's Dave Steele.
All right, Dave Steele is out of the event, and now we have, again, caution on the speedway. Here's the reason why. Help me with
that's
the number.
Todd Kane.
Oh, yeah. And Todd out of Powell, Ohio, the Bob Hampshire Barfield's Gift Fruit Ford-powered machine. has come to a bad end here. And I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised. We've seen a lot of Silver Crown races on Thunder, and you don't see this kind of race. They are typically not marred by a lot of yellow.
Yeah, time and time again, I've seen the Silver Crown races go green to checkered. So this is kind of unusual. But when you get a group of yellows, they seem to continue for just a little bit, and everybody will get tired of driving around slow and get their head together and make a good race here.
Well, if Chuck Leary in that 30 car does not get the chassis adjusted on this caution flag, there's going to be another caution flag. He is loose. I'm talking loose.
Doesn't matter if they have fenders or not when they behave like that, does it, Benny?
Oh, exactly. Let's see if we can check and see what happened to Todd Kane. Right there he is on the outside of a car. Obviously, we don't have a clue which one, but
a little bit of a
that was
Ruderman.
Yes, it was David Ruderman. He was on the alongside.
Ruderman and Kane get together, and Kane gets the worst of it as he goes up and clouts the wall and does a bit of damage to the left rear. We alluded to Jack Hewitt, who is currently running in 8th spot.
He looks a little slow getting out of there. Probably rather than
looking him over, see what that's about. I was checking to see where Hewitt started. He started 18th. We talked about the fact that he is star of the dirt track wars and winner of 20 Silver Crown races. I think only one of those has been on the pavement, and that was the Richmond event to which our analyst alluded here. But today, definitely, Hewitt is going toward the front. Good group of rookies in this division. Travis Rylett up from Texas. Started out in Legends cars, actually. Dodaro is a super modified driver. Armstrong from sprint cars. Kane and Bauer, the two who made the show here today. Liquid Lusaconi, maybe a rookie in this division, but a lot of experience in the open wheeled ranks. And Kane, of course, is the driver up against the wall. So for this rookie, it was a very, very tough introduction to this historic USAC division. Let's go take a little bit to clean up. We'll probably work in another commercial break here as the cars continue to circulate. The yellow laps do not count. We're at Walt Disney World Speedway, battling the caution flag here on a beautiful Central Florida afternoon. Stay with us for more right after this commercial break. If you've just joined us, we're live at Walt Disney World Speedway, just inside the gates of the Magic Kingdom with USAC Silver Crown competition. The class of the field gone. Kenny Irwin Jr., Robbie Flock, and Dave Steele running 1, 2, 3 on a restart. A collision, and the top 3 were all taken out in that crash. Flock lost his brakes, got into the back of the leader, Irwin. They spun in front of Steele, who had nowhere to go. There's the Magic Kingdom. That can't be. I may be able to throw a stone, or better yet, a nice juicy Florida orange over there to the castle where they're wrapping up the 25th anniversary celebration. They're going to do a complete rejuvenation here. It'll be all new colors. This is such a beautiful place and such a beautiful operation down here, Benny. It's been quite a celebration.
It is magnificent. You haven't been to Disney World. There we see Epcot Center over there. It just goes on and on and on. There is so much here to see. There's the top 15.
Heidenreich on the move is up to 4th. Bliss is going to get another shot at the kid. Leffler. Now let's go quickly to Marty.
Well, guys, you know, we are talking so much about the dirt and the pavement history of this series. It wasn't until 1984 that they tried their first pavement race back at St. Paul. They were really worried about it. They thought there'd be tons of yellow. It was a half-mile pavement track, and they ran 200 laps. Do you know they had just 1 yellow? Wait, we wish we had that today.
I would take that, exactly. If we could back this up to that first yellow, we'd still have our top 3 in the race. But I tell you, you've still got a very interesting story here. The yellow car of Leffler, kid's just 20 years old. The veteran Mike Bliss, who won't be driving very many more of these races, is right on his rear. We go back to green.
And Heidenreich on the outside, trying to go by Tyler. And they're side by side as they come off the second corner.
Continue their battle in 5th and 6th. There they are. Phillip with a challenge on the outside from Hewitt. There's a lot of experience in those 2 cockpits, and Hewitt gets the spot. Randy, if you're Mike Bliss, how long do you, assuming you can, how long do you wait to start putting pressure on Leffler?
You know, Mike's not going to wait much. It's sort of kind of when I first got into the everyone talked that you waited and waited and waited, and then you ran at the very last little bit. Mike kind of changed that world where he ran awfully hard, got a big lead, and he's gone.
Here's Newman under Leary. Is it going to work this time? He's tried this twice before. Ooh, they touch. A lot of smoke from the left front, but Leary's been doing that all along. What's that about? We've been seeing that smoke before.
I think it's just too much left front brake in the car. They don't really have a bias valve or much adjustment up there, so he probably just needs to go home, put some gauges on the brakes, and check that out.
Not a big deal.
It shouldn't affect him much, but it does show that the car's not handling just right.
Newman took advantage of that and takes over the 5th position, drops Leary back to 6th.
Jeff Phillips gives a challenge from Hewitt again as Brian there. Oh, we got another spin, and that's Sills.
Jimmy Sills goes around right behind that battle we were watching. The 3-time series champion loses the grip with his brand new Stanton chassis. Around she goes. Jimmy gives driving lessons, by the way, runs a driving school in Placerville, California. This is not part of the curriculum.
It's a rare day to see Jimmy Sills spin a car out.
Let's get another look at this and see if we can figure out what happened.
Well, I think all the cars up front just had a seal of contact right there.
Dave Darland got into the side of him. 4 championships meeting at that moment because Darland is your defending champion. He comes up the inside. Well, he tried to stay off him, didn't he?
He tried, but just a little bit of a bump, and around goes Sills.
So, back under yellow. The only Mopar in the field looping. See if they can get that baby refired. Sills was 11th at the time of the incident, and Darland 12th trying to go by. We're just past halfway at Walt Disney World Speedway. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Disney World. Half a lap from going green. Todd Kane, you're out of the race. What happened?
I got a little bit impatient, and it was just one of those things today. I mean, I think it's first.
It's a little loose.
A bit loose, and a guy helped me around. It was just one of those things.
Okay, Todd Kane's out of the race.
Diplomatically did not name Ruderman. Way to go, Todd. Coming back to the green flag. How good is Leffler's car? Leave that green out a while. I think we'll find out. Here we go.
Cliff is trying. That's a red car on the outside. He's trying to get on the outside. Trying to take everybody away. Guess what? Jason Leffler, that yellow car in front. Takes just 2 or 3 laps, and away he goes, Randy.
You can never give up on Mike, though. He'll figure out a way to make that car fast.
That is one thing we noticed at Indianapolis Raceway Park over and over. That's not a racetrack that offers a lot of different lines, a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different places to pass. He'll make the car do what he needs it to do, but I'll tell you, he's got a chance to do it. That thing is left 5 minutes of rocket. Heidenreich impresses me. He's kind of had a low-key weekend. Qualified back there in, what was it, 9th or 10th spot. Gone from 6 o'clock. That will help with the big 3. Crashed out. Now here he is, chasing after Bliss and Tyler. And with the 2 red cars dead center in the frame, Tyler's doing a good job of making that transition from the third sprint car racer to a pavement racer.
Brian's a good race car driver. You know, to win the national sprint car title for USAC, you kind of have to be versatile. And he's done well both. He gets good on the long runs. He seems to start moving, so might have to watch him a little bit.
Here's the war zone right here. This is Leary leading the likes of Hewitt. Philip Darland is the blue car here. Actually, Darland has moved into that spot behind Leary, so he should be 7th on the scoring rundown. And the 51 of Russ Gamester, who's got a lot of miles on the Silver Crown cars. Winter X is coming up next. That's Snowcross. It will follow immediately, so don't go anywhere. This thing has been wild, and Snowcross on a match that.
Here, Chip Phillips going to try it on the outside, but the distance is just too far to go. Can't make that pass.
He's one of the very few that makes that work at all. But it is a long way around.
New car seems to have come around pretty well to his liking here. They battled a lot of little niggling things all weekend long that kept them in qualifying where they wanted to.
Chad and his brother Corey, Advanced Racing Systems, they're pretty sharp on what they do. It takes them maybe a little while to get everything lined out. They don't do something like everybody else does. They certainly do it different.
They take a lot of pride in that. Chad, of course, has done a ton of racing in a lot of different divisions and has always had that inclination to try to build his own stuff. He's going to come up alongside Darlin. This will get interesting.
Wow. Now that was a chancy move on the outside. Didn't quite work.
When you slide your left front down in between the other guy's right front, right rear, you want to do that very carefully in an open road.
You can't do much rubbing here.
Battle for second spot. Tyler getting back around and taking over the position from Mike Bliss. So Bliss's new car not doing exactly what he had hoped here. And Tyler saying, I'd like to win one of these Silver Crown races. I got that sprint car championship going. Let me add something new to my crown. We'll be right back. Class of the field, Jason Leffler, as he takes the Steve Lewis beast across the start-finish line to put another lap in the book. There's Brian Tyler building his lead over Mike Bliss. Heidenreich and Newman round out your top 5. And Chet Phillip has pulled away from Darlin right there by a little bit. I made the prediction during the break that was going to be your next yellow flag because Darlin got together with Leary, but Leary was able to gather it back up and avoid hitting the wall. And now those guys have separated a little bit, but Leary has a lot of company still coming behind him. And that's typical of this division. There's always a race going on somewhere.
That's exactly right. You see Bentley Warren, who I think at the start of the race had to be put in the back of the field. He's coming up there.
Heidenreich trying to take over that third spot for Mike Bliss. That's a white car on the left. Bliss, the red number 11. So we put Heidenreich in third and Bliss back to fourth.
I think he subscribes to that theory that Randy was talking about earlier because he came from nowhere to make that move. He saved his best for late. Bliss is going to get more pressure now from Newman, and it's apparent that Mike's car's gone away from him.
Yeah, he's just lost something. Maybe it's just that right front tire. Hoosier made a right rear tire here that was fairly hard because they'd never been to this racetrack, but